everyone, welcome to the OklaRoots YouTube channel. In today's embroidery tutorial, we're doing a little fun one. We're doing a collab. Today I'm doing a collaboration with Shayna Krause over at Kreations, and we're going to show you some fun in the hoop projects for those of you who love your sewing machines, which is all of us, right? We all love our sewing machines. So in today's tutorial, I'm actually going to walk you through how to make these two little cutie patooties. These are chapstick and lip gloss holders. These designs are from Little Bee Designs. And you can see we have one version here that has a grommet up top. And this is good for like the bigger lip glosses, the taller items. And you can just put this on a keychain, on a lobster clasp, clip it to your purse, clip it to like a zipper inside your purse. This version here has this adorable little snap tab. There's a little sewing machine on the top. How cute is that? You open it up and inside you have your chapstick. So, a fun, useful project that uses just scraps, and it's gonna show off your love of your sewing machine. Here, I just wanna show you, look at this one. Look at that adorable little sewing machine, and you see you have a little spool of thread up top, and I use the variegated thread because it's my favorite. How cute is that? These are so cute. So that's what I'll be showing you today. Shayna, over on her channel, she's gonna be showing you such a fun project. We all love hand sanitizer holders, right? And you guys, Little Bee custom made this from Shayna's request. Shayna asked Little Bee if they would be gracious enough to make this pattern for you guys, and they did. So links for all the patterns are down below. Links for Shayna's channel are down below. Let me just show you real quick. This is my version of the pattern. This is a little sewing machine hand sanitizer holder. Because you guys, you still gotta sanitize. You gotta sanitize. And the little set you can buy has like this little bit of flair. Look at that tiny little sewing machine. How cute is that? So Shayna's gonna be walking you through how to make this. Again, a fun, scrappy project. Great for beginners. Oh, I just love it so much. So this set is adorable. This is for all of us who love our sewing machines. And I'm pretty sure if you're here, you probably love your sewing machine. But just for fun, I made one more. I'm not gonna walk you through this tutorial today. It's a very quick, easy one. But if you are a big fan of your multi-needle embroidery machine, you're definitely gonna wanna check out their other designs. Look at this. Look at this, it's a little 10-needle embroidery machine. It looks just like my Ricoma. I love it so much. So I'm just gonna clip this onto, I'll actually probably clip this onto like my work backpack. So I have a work backpack with all my filming equipment. So when I'm going over to my Ricky Bobby Ricoma machine and I'm filming over there, I'll probably clip this onto that because it's just such a fun, it's just a little decorative item. Maybe we can beg for maybe a hand sanitizer holder like this. I don't know. I'm not gonna beg for it, but if you guys do, I will support you. So thank you so much to Shayna for reaching out for this collaborative video. I love working with other YouTubers. Make sure you check out her channel. Shayna is amazing. She has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to all things embroidery. I have learned so much from her channel, especially with things regarding mighty hoops and how to properly hoop things. You've got to go check out her videos. She's also always sharing everything she's learning, even when it comes to like filming live. She has a lot of wonderful live videos on her channel. So if there's anything at all you're interested in learning when it comes to embroidery or even filming crafty tutorials for YouTube, you're gonna wanna check out her channel. She's fantastic and just like the nicest person ever. Thank you also to Little Bee Designs for allowing us to film tutorials using your embroidery patterns. And thank you seriously so much for putting together this little embroidery pattern last minute. I can't even believe the generosity of doing that. So make sure you go check out Little Bee Designs. Get all the sewing machine embroidery designs because I mean these are just, they're so cute. So in today's tutorial, I will be sewing on my single needle embroidery machine. We will be sewing on the Bernina 770QE with the embroidery module. I will say this is a really great single needle embroidery machine project for these lip balm holders specifically because there's like two colors. So there's not a whole lot of thread changes. However, when you're making something like this, it's going to have many colors. This is, I mean, it's a multi-needle embroidery machine design. It's actually better if you do it on a multi-needle just because you're not switching out the thread over and over again. But for today's tutorial, a single needle machine is going to be perfect. If you're new to the OklaRoots YouTube channel, please consider clicking subscribe down below. If at any point you like this video, please give it a like. Any questions, comments, anything at all you want to say, leave them down in the comment section down below. I will have timestamps since I am going through two different things today. I will have timestamps. We are going to go through cam snaps, you know, the plastic snaps, and we're also going to talk about how to install a grommet. As you can see, I don't always center my grommets perfectly, but it's perfectly fine. But we'll walk through all of that, all the tools, all the methods, everything. All right, let's get started. So as you can see, I pulled a bunch of scraps for this project. This is a fantastic small scrap project. You don't need, I mean, look at this. This is so tiny. You don't need much for this. So I'm using all vinyl today. You could definitely use felt, for example, on this back piece right here. You could use felt for that. You could use felt for all of it, honestly, whatever you're comfortable with. But I will be using vinyl for everything. One thing I want to note that on both of these designs, the little sewing machine is not applique on. So whatever color your vinyl is, that's going to be the color of your sewing machine. So if you have a preference, just think about that. So yeah, you just need little tiny cuts of fabric for this. I'm also going to be using one of these little key ring clasp combos for my fold over lip balm holder. I always like to add these to anything that has a fold over snap. I get these off of Amazon, but you can also find a huge assortment of these on Etsy. So like I said, this is a great single needle embroidery project because you really only need 2 colors of thread. You're going to need black for the outline of the sewing machine or whatever color you want so it stands out really nicely. And then the color of thread you want to use for the spool, which is just so cute. And I love using variegated thread for that because I love variegated thread. For my bobbin, I am using bottom line thread. For my needles, I like to use the Schmetz Super Non-Stick needles. Now, this is a size 90-14. You could also use a size 80-12. You want to use a thicker needle if you're going to be using a lot of vinyl. My recommendation, though, is that if you are using vinyl, definitely get the Super Universal Non-Stick needles. It's going to help solve a lot of problems with tangles and looping on your embroidery projects. To cut all the little threads and really clean up everything, I like to use a pair of tweezers and small snips. My fabric and vinyl cutting scissors of choice are these Kai scissors. And then, of course, my little applique scissors. I actually don't think we're going to be using these much today since we're not doing applique. But if you are doing the applique design with Shayna, you're going to want to use these little applique scissors. All right, here's a bunch of the other stuff. I like to use 505 spray when adhering the backing fabric to the bottom of the hoop. So I have that. I also like to use this Scotch masking tape. I think that this is great to sew over. It comes out of the stitches really easy, but it also holds everything in place. I'll be using cutaway stabilizer today. I'm using a smaller hoop. This is a 5x7 hoop. For the snaps, I got this fun combo pack here from camsnaps.com. I'll be using whatever snap I want from this one, and then I'll be using the handheld press. Both of these are from Cam Snaps. I'll have links for it down in the description. For the grommet, I got this little set off of Amazon. So this has a bunch of different colors in it. I will be using this, but instead of the setting tool that comes with it, I will be using this contraption here. Now I forgot what this is called. I'll have a link for it down below, but it's very, very handy with these little smaller grommets, especially if you have a bunch of these projects. It's easy to just snap the hole, pop them in, and then be done. So we're going to start with what I consider like the lip gloss holder, just because it doesn't have a fold over tab, so you can put longer lip glosses, whatever you want in there, honestly. So we're going to start with this one. So the first thing we want to do, as always, is hoop our stabilizer. All right, now once you have that hoop, let's get this set up in the machine. All right, as you can see, we have our design loaded. You're going to need a 5x7 at least hoop for this longer one here. It is going to stitch it at an angle to help it fit the best, but it is a very quick stitch. There's only 7 steps to this. So I'm going to first load my black thread. And now we're going to run the first step, which is going to stitch out placement for our vinyl for the entire front exterior of our lip balm holder. So now remember, whichever vinyl or fabric you're using for this step, this is going to be the same color as your sewing machine. So it's going to be the color of the entire design really, but also the background of your sewing machine. So if you have a preference, just think about that. I'm okay with a little bit of a glimmer to mine. So this next step is going to stitch out the details on the sewing machine. So the outline of the sewing machine, the little knobs, all of that. All right, so now I'm just going to clean up these little threads real quick. And now the next step is going to stitch out the thread. I'm going to switch over to my little colorful variegated thread. I'm trying to get it in the light for you. And then I'm going to use this for the rest of the stitch out as well. So for the design that traces out the whole outline of the lip balm holder, I'll be using this variegated thread. Okay, this next step is just going to add a little bit of detailing to your spool. I'm going to keep the same thread color for this. So step 5 is going to stitch out placement for the front pocket. So when you're adding your pocket, you want to make sure that the top edge is nice and straight. So if you need to get a rotary cutter and a ruler, go ahead and do that and just make sure the top edge is really straight. You don't need a big piece of vinyl or fabric for this. And I'm going to place my pocket so that it completely covers the stitching that we just made, and it's just slightly above these top little horizontal lines. These little lines up here, these little tiny nicks, those are your markers for where the pocket's going to be. I just make it go just slightly above it, just a scotch above it. And because this is such a small piece of vinyl, I like to tape it down. Now remember, your main vinyl with your stitch out is right side up, and your pocket is also going to be right side up. So the next step is going to stitch the pocket in place. Okay, we can take this out of the hoop and then prepare the back. So first thing you want to do is remove your tape. If you used it, make sure you get it out of those stitches. This is where tweezers come in really handy. Okay, so now we're just going to flip our hoop over, so we're looking at the back of it. And then I have my backing vinyl here, and I'm going to flip that over, and on the wrong side of my vinyl, I'm just going to spray my 505 spray. You could use tape here instead if you like. And then, wrong side down, I'm just going to place my backing against the back of my stabilizer, making sure it covers my design completely. And then you can just kind of use your hands to very gently press it in place. You don't want to move any of your stabilizer. There we go. So now we're going to take this back to the machine and just stitch the final stitch, which is going to outline the entire holder and hold the backing in place to the front in the pocket. So now that this is all done, let's remove it from our hoop and just cut around our stitching. So when cutting around your stitching, some really good sharp scissors are useful. And then I just cut less than 1/8 of an inch right around the last stitch we just made. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see we have a little bit of bumps here for the detailing around the sewing machine. And then also for the little notch up top for our grommet placement. So just go slow. All right, there we go. Now it's pretty much done. We just have to add a hole here. So let's play with that. So here's my little tool, and you'll see on the sides here, these are the hole punch sides. So on one side we have a 3/16 inch of a hole. I don't know if you can see it coming right here, not in the middle here. Look on the sides. See that? And then on the left side we have a 1/8 of an inch hole. So I want the 3/16 of an inch hole. So what I do is I take this and I just slide it in on the right side. And what I'm trying to do is look and see where those little prongs are coming out. Now, to be honest, I almost never make a centered hole. If you marked this with a pen, that would probably help. But I also find I'm just not that picky. So we just push down. There we go. And it snaps a perfect hole. Isn't that great? That's pretty centered too. I mean, it's as centered as it's gonna get for me, so that's great. I love that. So now we're gonna add our little grommet. So here's the case I have with a bunch of different colors. So I think I'm gonna use a red one. So I need the colored long post and also one of these small skinny discs. So these are the two pieces I need for my grommet. And the cylindrical one with the color on it, that's gonna go through the front side, and it should snug right in that hole you just made. There we go, I've got that added. Now I'm gonna flip it over to the back, and I'm gonna add that little disc around the cylinder on the back. So hold that in place with your fingers. Now you can grab your tool. I think it's called like a crocodile. I don't remember what it's called. But on here it shows you the picture. So on the picture, the cylindrical part is gonna go up here on the top. So just make sure you insert it the way it shows you on the picture, or else it's not gonna really work out. So all of your pieces should still be where they are. The little disc is on the bottom, the cylinder's on the top. It lines up just like the picture shows us, and then just squeeze it shut. And there we go. And what it does is it spreads out the bottom of that cylinder so it wraps around the disc and holds it in place. Isn't that adorable? And it's so fast. It's just scraps. It's just so stinking cute. So there's one done. Let's work on the snap tab version. So since this version is so tall, it does require a bigger hoop. So I got my oval sized hoop out, and I'm going to just get my stabilizer hooped in this one. Okay, now let's go put this in the embroidery machine. All right, so the first step is just going to trace out the outline of the entire design so we know where to place our vinyl. The step after that is going to be doing some detailing on the sewing machine, so I'm going to be using my black thread for the first step and the second step. So now take your vinyl of choice. For me, it's going to be this bright pink vinyl, and lay it over the design so it covers it completely. Now this next step is going to run the little details of the sewing machine, so like the little knob and part of the front of the machine. The next step is going to do the spool of thread, so I'm going to be using my variegated thread here. I'm going to switch that out. So you can see so far all we have is a little bit of details and the thread. So we're going to flip this over. And I'm going to use the same vinyl for the back. I'm going to grab my 505 spray and just spray the back of my vinyl. And then I'm going to take my vinyl and place it wrong side down, covering the back stitch out on the back of my cutaway. And then what I like to do is just kind of smush it with my hands, flip it over, and then give it a good press from the top. So that way I'm not pushing my stabilizer. Now this is very sticky vinyl, and so if you just have a metal bed or a plastic bed on your embroidery machine, it's very likely this is going to stick to it and it's going to cause a lot of ugly looping on the back here. I take a sheet of wash away stabilizer and I tape it to the bed of my embroidery machine, and then I cut a little hole for the needle, and that helps this slide around. Now it's probably still not going to be perfect, but it should help avoid too much of a mess on the back of this. So now we're going to take this back to the embroidery machine, and it's going to stitch out the outline of the sewing machine and also the outline of the entire lip balm holder. So I'm going to go back to my black thread for that. Okay, now let's take this out of the hoop and let's prepare the snap on our pocket before we attach it. All right, so you're going to want to attach your snap to your pocket before you stitch it on, because it's going to be very hard to get your snap pressed or whatever you're using into the pocket to attach it afterwards. So we're going to be attaching the male end of the snap. I'm going to use a light pink. I'm just going to use a basic cap because this cap is going to be on the inside of the pocket. So it's going to go just like this, inside the pocket. And the male end is going to be on the right side of your vinyl, so on the outside of the pocket, just like this. Now for your pocket piece, she gives you the dimensions in the pattern. A big thing is you want to have one straight edge, which is going to be your top. And you want to center and mark about 1/2 inch down a small dot for the placement of your snap. Now I'm just going to use my stiletto because it is very, very sharp. I just kind of fold it in half. Don't worry too much about finding the midpoint because this is bigger than it needs to be. And then I'm just going to insert my stiletto in there to poke a little hole. Now I'm going to take my snap, and with the cap flat side going into the back, I'm going to push it through and poke it to the front, just like that. Now I'm going to take my male part of my snap and just insert it over it. So it should look just like this. The wrong side of your vinyl has the smooth snap cap, and the right side has the male end. Now I can just take my handheld press here, insert the snap in, and gently push it down. Don't push down too hard. These can break, so be careful. There we go. All right, there we go. Now we have this attached. So now we want to tape this to the back of our unit. So take your hoop and lay it so that you have the back right side up. And you should have these little horizontal lines that mark the top of your pocket. So the goal here is that the top of our pocket piece with the snap is going to line up with those horizontal lines, and I'm just going to have them cover it. Just go a scotch above it, just like that. And you want your snap to be as centered on the design as possible. You know, don't line it up like this because that's not going to be cute. So we want to center our snap as best as possible on our design. Once you have it where you want it, add some tape to hold it in place. Okay, there we go. So now this is centered. You don't want the snap too close to the edges. You don't want your embroidery machine to accidentally hit it, but it's in place. The snap is pointing out, so when we insert this later, it'll fold over just like that. This is the top of our hoop. So now let's put this back in the embroidery machine, and it's going to run the final stitch, which is just going to stitch down the pocket. All right, there we go. Now let's remove it from the hoop and cut it out. And now grab your fabric scissors and just cut around your entire design, anywhere between 1/8 inch or just less than 1/8 inch. Don't be too worried about getting all these corners perfect. You can always go back later and clean it up. All right, there we go. Look how cute that is. So now we just need to attach the snap for the top. Isn't that cute? And this would be fun too. You could embroider someone's name on this. This would be so cute if you did that. So for the top snap, I'm just going to take my stiletto, awl, whatever you want to use that's nice and sharp, and I'm going to poke a hole right in the center. Now I'm going to grab a cap. I'm going to grab this cute little butterfly cap, and then the female version of the snap. And I'm going to insert the cap on the right side, so the side that you see the sewing machine on, of my holder, just like that. And then I'll flip it over and insert the female end of the snap on the back. So when we close it, see, it'll close just like that. Now this is fun. Even though this isn't a circle we can still use the same dies for this. So I love that. This is a size 20 snap die. All of these different shapes will fit inside this die. So we're going to take the cap side down, insert it into our press. The female side is up. I haven't changed my die from male to female. It all works together. Gently push down. Don't break it. Let it go. And look how cute that is. Boop. You just snap it like that. Isn't that adorable? Oh, I love this. Okay, so now final touch. Let's just add our key ring. So just slide this around your design. Be careful not to ruin it or anything. You should be fine. And there you go. You could attach this to your purse, your backpack. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. So what do you think? How adorable are these? Oh, they're so cute. So here's what I was thinking. These would be so cute. This would be so cute. So a lot of you guys I know go to sewing classes. You have sewing groups. You have retreats. What if you made one of these for all of your friends at your sewing class? And if you really wanted to get adventurous and you had the time, embroider their names on like the pocket here or on the backs of these. That would be such a beautiful gift because they could clip it on their purse or their sewing machine bag. You know, a lot of us have special bags. We travel with our sewing machine. You could clip this on the sewing machine bag. You could keep your chapstick in it, whatever they want to keep in it. It's just such a thoughtful, sweet, sweet gift for those of us who love our sewing machines. And I know a lot of you guys feel the same way that I do. We don't just like our sewing machines. We love our sewing machines. They are our babies, our embroidery machines, our sewing machines. You know, if the house is burning down, we're running in to get them. You know what I mean? Like, we probably love them a little bit too much. So let's put them on our accessories. So thank you so much to Shayna for reaching out to me and asking me to collaborate with you. I cannot wait to watch Shayna's video. I cannot wait for you to watch Shayna's video. I think this little sanitizer holder is going to be such a big hit. It is so cute, so much fun to make. I especially love for this design that the sanitizer holder is an applique item. I think that that's great because that way if you really want to get funky with your machine, you can do that. It doesn't have to be white and it can be a different vinyl than the background. I think this is going to be a really, really fun one for you guys to make. Thank you also to Little Bee Designs for allowing us to use your patterns in this tutorial today. I am such a big fan. I can't wait to check out more of your designs. Again, guys, I will have links for everything down in the description. Go check out Shayna's channel. Go check out Little Bee Designs' website. I hope you're having a great day today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Get out there and make something. Bye, guys.
Hello, OklaRooties. It's Shayna over from Kreations. I hope you really enjoyed Jess's tutorial on the lip balm cases. And now it's time for you to head on over to my channel, which is Shayna Krause, so that you could watch the tutorial on the matching sanitizer cases. Bye!